This video is going to be talking about Trump, Biden, Kamala Harris, and most of all, the importance of voting. Without further ado, let's get to it. Fact. Trump has signed a bipartisan bill that permanently gives at least $250 million a year to HBCUs. Now, this was a big issue for me. Not only did I think that he was talking about slavery, because I was like, "Make America great again." What are you talking about, Trump? When was America great? When? Because without us, I mean, it never was. But what they're talking about is not slavery or going back into the old days or whatever. What they're talking about is bringing back jobs from overseas and bringing them back to the American soil. Now, although the effort was made and it was not trying to be nice, it was trash compared to how good it could have been. The effort was still made, and it's a stepping stone, a baseline that it could, you can always improve from. But the point of the matter is that he's trying. So you got to start somewhere. Yo, shout out to Michael Lomax, man. This dude is such an upstanding dude for blacks that, I mean, I never would have known about him until, well, obviously after doing all this research, but when I was in college, I did not know as much stuff that he did do for us. Under Obama administration, under the Trump administration, I mean, keep it up, man. I really appreciate people like you. The people who go by unnoticed. Well, I didn't know to look for you, so I'm gonna just speak for myself. I didn't know about you because I didn't know what you were doing. I didn't know anything that was going on until actually not too long ago when I started doing the research. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for what you've been done, and keep doing what you do, because we need people like you in this community. Now, back then in 2013, during the Obama administration, you consecutively every year kept going back to Obama asking for more funds and more funds and more funds. And the reason why we need these funds. Now, I'm glad that you did that, because a lot of people don't understand that it's not that you're not smart enough. It's really that you don't have the funds to continue college. And even if you're making A's and B's, but if you don't have the funds to continue college, then how can you graduate? Now you're in this predicament. It's like, yeah, I have loans now, but I can't finish because I don't have y'all cut me. The funds that I was getting to pay for school, I no longer am receiving them. So how can I pay back what I just accumulated without the degree, without the job, without a 80% fulfillment of college enrollment or something like that? Make it make sense. Why would you do that? Hey, so I understand. So Trump, I'm thank you for signing that bill. It's a lot more than what we've been receiving in previous years, so I appreciate that. And yes, I'm not using it, but pay it forward. How can I be happy when someone else is sad? I'm not that type of person. I guess some people are, but that's just not me. So I want to see my fellow brethren, anybody, do better and not have to worry about the stuff that I've been through. This next clip is going to show why Ice Cube chose Trump over Biden.
Both campaigns contacted me. Both campaigns wanted to talk to me about the contract with Black America. One campaign said, "We love what you have, but let's really dig into it after the election." And one campaign said, "We love what you have. Do you mind talking to us about it?" And that's what I did. So I didn't run to nobody. And so that was real misleading to me.
Well, I didn't say you ran to anybody. I said that you had taken a pivot.
Well, you said I ran over to the Trump team instead of the Biden team. That's just not true.
Well, but you are working with the Trump team instead of the Biden team, and people giving you heat for it. What do you say to them?
Well, I'm willing to work with both teams, but I'm just working with whoever is willing to work with me. So Trump campaign came to me and asked me to explain to them some of the contract with Black America. That's what I did. I'm not playing no more of these games, these political games. We're not part of a team. We have very broad problems, especially the wealth gap in this country when it comes to Black Americans. So I'm going to whoever's in power and I'm going to speak to them about our problems specifically. I'm not going there talking about minorities. I'm not going there talking about people of color or diversity or none of that stuff. I'm going there for Black Americans.
Pertaining to Ice Cube. Now, Ice Cube, Jay-Z, any celebrity does not represent the Black culture. Like, that's just people. They're a person. I don't know why the media says, "Oh, the Black is it." I don't care. What I care about, I do agree with Ice Cube. I don't want to get that misunderstood. I do agree with Ice Cube and what he went and did. But I don't like how they try to make it seem as though a celebrity, one person, represents the whole community. No, they don't. Let's talk to people. But I do appreciate Ice Cube going up there and talking to them and saying, "Hey, I have this platform I would like to present to you. Are you willing to listen?" He made a point. How can you hold somebody accountable if they never agreed to something until after they get what they want? How are you even going to hold them to anything when they never agreed to anything in the first place? No, I want to talk to someone who's going to be like, "Okay, well, I want some pie. I'll give you it for $10. Cool. That's our agreement before you become the manager of the store or store owner, whatever. And then when you become that, hey, yo, we talked about this before. Now I want my pie." Simple, like simple. Not no, "Oh, we'll talk to you after I make it." Nah, since I got it, I really don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm busy. I'm this and that. Shoot. I'm tired of it. It's old. It's redundant. I keep falling for the same tricks. I'm not here for it. I understand Ice Cube, and I definitely support him. Like he said, whoever's going to help me. Now let's get to Joe Biden, who's every Black person who don't know nothing about history and don't want to know nothing about their history favorite candidate. Now let's look at what he did say. Well, as you can read, the biggest statement that I have is the one about, "You're not Black if you don't vote for me." Well, Joe, what are you doing for Black people, Joe? We all know that Joe Biden and his crime bill, how it affected the U.S. economy. Well, some people do. Most people don't. So I'm here to educate you. Now, 167 million compared to 23 million. In 167 million, only 2% are under correctional supervision. And out of the 23 million, it accounts for at least 9%. Now, as we look at these numbers, I'm not the type of person who just say stuff and be like, "That's it, that's law, it's true because I said it." No. I show you the facts. So it's been over 20 years since this crime bill came out. Now, if I wanted to do something, I never took more than 1 year if I wanted to do it or thinking about it. But I mean, everybody's different, but let's just see what he says.
Vice President Biden, let me give you a chance to respond within this context. Crime bills that you supported in the 80s and 90s contributed to the incarceration of tens of thousands of young Black men who had small amounts of drugs in their possession. They are sons, they are brothers, they're fathers, they're uncles, whose families are still to this day, some of them suffering the consequences. So speak to those families. Why should they vote for you?
One of the things is that in the 80s, we passed 100%, all 100 senators voted for it, a bill on drugs and how to deal with drugs. It was a mistake. I've been trying to change the since then, particularly the portion on cocaine. That's why I've been arguing that, in fact, we should not send anyone to jail for a pure drug offense. They should be going into treatment across the board. That's what we should be spending money. That's why I set up drug courts, which were never funded by our Republican friends. They should not be going to jail for a drug or an alcohol problem. They should be going into treatment. That's what we've been trying to do. That's what I'm going to get done, because I think maybe the American people have now seen that, in fact, it was a mistake to pass those laws relating to drug. But they were not in the crime bill.
But why didn't he get it done? See, it's all talk, no action with these politicians. Why didn't he get it done? That's what I'm going to do when I become president. You were vice president along with Obama as your president, your leader, for 8 years. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years to get it done. Now you're saying you're going to get it done because you're all talk and no action, Jim.
We got a lot of it done. We released 38,000.
See, Trump is asking all the right questions. But how come it wasn't done, Joe? You was the vice president. You was the congressman. All talk, no action. However, you did find a way to get your son a job, although he was on drugs. Now you're saying that this person stopped you from doing it? Nah. As a man, you find ways to get things done.
Has done what I've done. Criminal justice reform. Obama and Joe didn't do it. I don't even think they tried because they had no chance at doing it. They might have wanted to do it, but if you had to see the arms I had to twist to get that done, it was not a pretty picture, and everybody knows it, including some very liberal people that cried in my office. They cried in the Oval Office. 2 weeks later, they're out saying, gee, we have to defeat him. Criminal justice reform, prison reform, opportunity zones with Tim Scott, a great senator from South Carolina. He came in with this incredible idea for opportunity zones. It's one of the most successful programs. People don't talk about it. Tremendous investment is being made. Biggest beneficiary.
Now, Tim Scott and Donald Trump did not always see eye to eye, especially when a statement was made there was good people on both sides. However, they had to sit down and was able to come to an agreement and understanding, thus making the Criminal Reform Act. Now, there are other projects that Congressman Scott is working on. But for the sake of this video and time constraints, we're going to keep this video focused on the candidates that was previously mentioned. Feel free to look them up. Now, getting back to Biden. This next piece was done by Young Pharaoh.
Watch this. Here we go.
7 women accuse you of touching them without their permission. Are you sorry for what you did? Are you prepared to apologize to those women?
Look, here's the deal. I am so... Like, for example, I actually thought in my head when I walked out here, I mean, do I
know
we're friends.
it's tricky.
No, but I should be able to read better. But
You hear this bitch? She's like, I know it's tricky. I know it's tricky. It's not tricky. It's just not. I would say, nigga, what the fuck is you talking about, bro?
Never in my life done anything in approaching a woman that has been, other than trying to bring salt. I'm used to, like one of your staff was, I'm used to, I think it's really important we listen. Well, whether I sit down.
Now, let me pause it real quick because I want to say this. If you're confused right now as to what Joe Biden is saying, you should be. Because nobody knows what the fuck is he talking about. They asked this man, are you sorry about the 7 women? Are you sorry? Why they didn't ask Bill Cosby to apologize? He didn't even really do it. Go watch my video I did damn near a year ago.
Sorry if they...
Nancy Pelosi wants you to say, I'm sorry that I invaded your space.
Sorry, I invaded your space. I mean, I'm sorry this happened. Yeah. But I'm not sorry in the sense that, look, I was...
Yo, she almost spit that shit out. She was drinking her drink like, yes, thank you. And as soon as he said, but I'm not sorry.
Now, get into Kamala Harris. A lot of people don't know, but that's what I'm here for. What you're looking at is a mosaic of all the innocent black men who was incarcerated while Kamala Harris was a DA. Now, one person in particular that we're going to talk about is the man called Kevin Cooper. Now, He was framed by law enforcement with an accusation of murder. A woman came forward, told police that her boyfriend was probably involved. She even went as far as to give them the bloody coveralls. Despite that, they still arrested Kevin Cooper, saying that he murdered 4 people. Now, it's been, 20 years he was been in jail? So he petitioned for more DNA testing. Now, guess what? It was denied by none other than yours truly. Miss Now I Am Black. Now this man is about to be executed, and the execution in California hasn't happened in a long time. To give you a better description, see, most of y'all have never heard of the Khalid Browder story. Yeah, it's a series on Netflix, and if you haven't, you better skip the next 30 seconds because this is your spoiler alert. Khalid Browder was a 16-year-old wrongfully accused by some dude who said he robbed his book bag on yesterday, 2 weeks ago, 2 hours ago, 14 days ago. He kept switching his story. Now, the police kept asking him, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? They had to take this man in because he said he stole something from him, robbed him or whatever, although his story changed so many times. Now, I don't know about y'all, but jail ain't like life. It ain't all roses. My boy spent 3 years at Rikers Island without trial. Judge talk about I'm on vacation. I can't see him. I got another case. What you mean, man? This dude is innocent. And you know what they tell him? Yo, just say you guilty. We'll let you go. Just say you guilty. He's spent countless times in isolation. If that ain't torture, I don't know what is. All because a bimbo want to put some black people in jail? Come on, man. And y'all want to vote for Kamala Harris? Hey, you do what you want to do. Like I said, I'm just here to educate you, man. I couldn't even watch I only watched the first episode. It affected me so bad. Yeah, I cried. I cried. I'm not ashamed to say it. I cried. Because the dude's literally crying out his soul, and I can feel it. I can hear it. He said, I'm facing demons when I'm alone, punching walls and stuff. And at 16 years old, that could have been me coming home from a party, just talking with my boys, about the good times we had. I danced with this chick, I danced with that chick. How many numbers we got? How many dances we got? I'm coming home minding my business, and some lunatic or stupid idiot talk about that's the dude who robbed me. What you mean? Because I'm black though. Now I gotta go to Rikers for something I didn't even do. This dude's a hero. This dude's a hero. Yeah, I know you probably don't believe me, and that's all right. So I am gonna show you the clip of her words, not mine, of what she says.
The American people. But you talk about having personally prosecuted. I'm glad you brought up your record, Senator.
Thank you.
But I really need to make this point. When you were DA in San Francisco, when you left office, African Americans were 19 times more likely to be prosecuted for minor drug offenses than whites and Hispanics. When you were Attorney General of California, you increased the disproportionate incarceration of blacks in California. You did nothing on criminal justice reform in California. You didn't lift a finger to pass the First Step Act on Capitol Hill. I mean, the reality is your record speaks for itself. President Trump and I have fought for criminal justice reform.
Thank you, Vice President.
We fought for educational choice and opportunities for African Americans, all of our members.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll do it for 4 more
Thank
years.
you. You know, there is no more important issue than the final issue that we're going to talk about tonight, and that is the issue of the election itself.
Susan, he attacked my record. I would like an opportunity to respond.
Let me give you 30 seconds because we're running out of time.
As we watch this next clip that's unadulterated, I really want you to focus on what Pence stated and her rebuttal and how she does not address anything. She's just speaking in circles.
Because we're running out of
I
time.
appreciate that. First of all, having served as the Attorney General of the state of California, the work that I did is a model of what our nation needs to do, and we will be able to do under a Joe Biden presidency. Our agenda includes what this administration has failed to do. It will be about not only instituting a ban on chokeholds and carotid holes.
Thank you.
Not only.
Thank you, Senator
I
Harris.
would like to go through.
These are points that you made earlier in the hour, and I want to talk about the election itself before we have to.
But I want to talk about the connection between what Joe and I will do and my record, which includes I was the first statewide officer to institute a requirement that my agents would wear body cameras and keep them on full time. We were the first to initiate a requirement that there would be a training for law enforcement on implicit bias because, yes, Joe Biden and I recognize that implicit bias does exist, Mr. Vice President, contrary to what you may believe. We did the work of instituting reforms that were about investing in reentry. This is the work that we have done and the work we will do going forward. And again, I will not be lectured by the Vice President on our record of what we have done in terms of law enforcement and keeping our communities safe and a commitment to reforming the criminal justice system of America.
Thank you, Senator Harris. And I'd like to pose the first, I'd like you.
Now, I don't want to be misunderstood. And I definitely don't want to come off as a dude who does not, celebrate the accomplishment of black women. No. Just like the women who became judges, all black, in Houston. I love that. Now, I just got to watch them grow and see what they do. But I'm not finna cheer for no woman who became a DA, made a career out of locking innocent black men up. Nah, I would never stand for that. Now, Kamala Harris, she had a good argument. She said she's not African American. Okay, true, because to be that, you have to be born in Africa, come to America, get your citizenship, then you become an African American. So, she's right. However, when inauguration happened, you did not claim your black side. Although I did agree with you. Your mom's Indian, your father is Jamaican. So it would be what, Indian Caribbean or Indian Jamaican, whichever one you want to call it. Cool. But at inauguration, you did not say first black Indian American woman. You said first Indian woman. So don't try to claim the black side now since it's 2020, you need the black vote. Nah, you Indian. So be that. Republican. Now, breaking it down into smaller parts. Base word republic. The meaning of it is a state in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives. The suffix "an" means pertaining to. Blacks were the original Republicans. Well, originally Republican. In 1863, President Lincoln issued the Emancipation of Proclamation, Amendment 13, which declared all persons held as slaves are free. The severely short version, which doesn't confuse people, is what it says. Amendments 14 and 15 greatly expanded the civil rights of Americans. Now, this only changed in, 1960s? By a senator from Arizona named Barry Goldwater. Now, they called him Mr. Conservative, but he believed the Civil Rights Act was unconstitutional. His statement gave reassurance to many white Southerners, most in particular segregationists, which led to many blacks leaving the Republican Party and joining the Democratic one. Although they were still unsatisfied with the Democratic one, but it was kind of like, well, let's just go to them because they're just there, but most people aren't happy with either or. To sum everything up, it really doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democratic. What matters is whoever you're voting for is going to do something for you or your community or whatever you represent, how is candidate A going to help me? How is candidate B going to help me? Are they going to help me? Or are they just saying vote for me because I like the color blue and so do you? To me, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. And if that's your reason for voting, I'm trying to be nice here, you know, so I'm gonna just leave that alone and just let your mind wander off of
They
that.
built cages. You know, they used to say, I built the cages. And then they had a picture in a certain newspaper. And it was a picture of these horrible cages. And they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them. And then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
Do you have a plan to reunite the kids?
Yes, we're working on it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes and through gangs.
Vice President Biden, let me bring you into this conversation. Quick response and then another question to you.
These 500 plus kids came with parents. They separated them at the border to make it a disincentive to come to begin with. Big, real tough. We're really strong. And guess what? They cannot, it's not coyotes didn't bring them over. Their parents were with them. They got separated from their parents. And it makes us a laughing stock and violates every notion of who we are as a nation.
Let me ask you a follow-up
Kristen,
question.
they did it. We changed the policy.
Your response
they
to
did
that?
It. We changed.
did not
They built the
separate
cages. Who built the cages?
All in
Let's
all,
talk about
if you
what
don't
we're
take
doing.
anything else from this video, please take this. Ask questions. Do your research. Do not just listen to the media because they have their own agenda. With that being said, why were these people, you know, hanging out years ago when Trump wasn't a racist? Why all of a sudden now he's a racist? He's always been that way. And trust me, he's always been the way he is. But what changed? Who's paying you? Who's put money in your pockets? And why is certain people aligning with him? Like, let's think. Why? Do the research. How can one be called a coon when he's trying to find somebody to help you out, but you don't know that because you just watch the news and see it from their point of view or whatever? But do research. If it makes sense to you, it makes sense to me, then hey, we can all agree. If it don't, then ask that question, why? Like, subscribe, and make sure that you get out there and vote.